Hello. There you are. I really can't see you, but I can act surprised and see if I can get some kind of acting award. But this is Bob Burgess, and I am making my 28th installment of the Burgi View of the month of June, which corresponds with the 28th day of my 30-day fast. And right now, I'm leaning towards being beyond 30 days. So we'll see how that happens. What decision I make when it comes down to it. But I'm leaning that way because things are going so well. Well, I got a text from an old, very dear friend of mine. It's hard for me to call this person a friend because they were in a position of authority way back in high school. Was a teacher, band instructor, and to call that person a friend is a little strange because I've just always viewed her in such high esteem and continue to. And but she was concerned. I was flattered that she's paying attention to my videos. But she was concerned about my health, just making sure that I was doing okay, and had some observations and some help a little bit, and so I appreciate that. I really do. I want people to let me know what they think and what they observe, and but in reality, I'm feeling really good. Today was an excellent day as far as how I was feeling. I went to a rehearsal of the vocal majority that's preparing for a national convention at the end of this next week. And they have won many gold medals there and have taken about a 10-year break, I think it is, and now they're back. And so they had been preparing some pieces for a competition. And the vocal majority is always incredible. I mean, just when you go to a concert of theirs, it is just a special treat. The harmonies, the dynamics, the way that just the way that they can shape sounds and they're amazing. They're just beautiful. I love to hear them sing and perform, and but I had no idea that they could step it up a notch from something that I thought was amazing already. As far as I'm concerned, it was perfect. And I'm not around perfect very often, and maybe I'm not the best judge in the world. I'm sure I'm not. Well, but they were amazing, and it was just a great time. It was packed way beyond what they expected to show up for a rehearsal, but it was like a free concert. And there was also a barbershop quartet, which is kind of a guys within the vocal majority that are going to be in the barbershop quartet at the same convention, the barbershop quartet competition. They've called themselves Clutch, and they are incredible. The singers are individually are wonderful, but when they put those harmonies together, it's amazing. Anyway, I just enjoyed that immensely, and had because it was so packed, I had to walk quite a ways, a little bit of ways from my parked car because I got there late, 5 minutes late, and then it was packed. It was packed. Uh, they do have a tendency to attract an older audience, and I'm 60, turning 66 next week, and I do think I tend to bring the average age of the audience down. So that tells you uh, how old the group is around me. Uh, so that made me have to walk. And if a month ago, I would have been so much in pain walking the distance I had to walk. And that wasn't really that far, but it would have been just daunting for me. My hips would have been hurting so terribly. And it would just, I would have been just, it would have been awful. But today, other than just a little regular muscle tiredness, it was great. I didn't I felt so good doing it. Um, and then later on, I went to see a soccer game with a friend of mine who's from Ireland, and he loves his soccer. And he wanted, months ago, he asked me to go to a game with him. And so today was a day that I had available to do that. They had a home game. It was FC Texoma. And went there, and I'm not a big soccer fan. I enjoy watching Welcome to Wrexham on TV. That's good, and so the soccer experience is something that I'd love to do, particularly in Europe, England, Ireland. Where they really get rowdy. I'd like to see what that's like. But the game itself, I'm not a big fan of. And today was one of the better games. There was a lot of scoring. It was 5-4. Home team lost, uh, but but still, yeah. And he commented, so this was a good game to watch. There's a lot of action and all that kind of thing. And I agree. Within the world of soccer, it was a good game to watch. uh, and there was moments when you go, "Yay!" and clap your hands because they scored. But anyway, you can tell that it's still not my favorite game. I don't I don't understand, and I'm going on and on here, but I don't understand stoppage play. Why why don't they just stop the clock? Why? And my friend says that he doesn't like the way we do games here in America, like American football, where they stop the clock. And it's such a different way of thinking. I have no idea why that is, why he doesn't like to know that the clock actually means something at the end of the game. So somebody explain to me why they do it that way. Anybody? I don't. Just tell me if you care. But I've rambled for 7 minutes now. Hope you enjoy my observations of that. I got some more observation here in a second. But just to let you know, I'm down to 277.8, which was a loss in one day of 2.1 pounds. So I'm back on the losing train here, and that means I've lost a total right on the nose of 40 pounds since I started this, which is good. Which is good. I was really wanting to get to at least 50, and obviously I'm not going to get to 50 by the time I get to July 1st, which is one of the reasons I'm leaning towards continuing on. And so, plus, I just feel so good. The the more energy, less pain in my body. And I was sharing with someone uh, today, I guess it was, or maybe yesterday, about just thinking about a month ago. I would sit on the couch and debate with myself about whether to to get up. I had to go to the bathroom, let's say, but I was just like, do I really need to get up? Because it hurt. It would hurt so much. It would be such an effort. I'd be out of breath from just trying to stand up. And when it gets to the point where you're debating about whether to try to stand up, when you really need to, it's time to do something. And some people never do that, and I have been that way for decades. But by golly, I'm doing something now, and I'm actually going to come off of it uh, in a much better way, so I can taper back into a full diet, and hopefully not get my body to all of a sudden start saying, when I eat that it wants to hold on to the food, hold on to the fat. We'll see how that works. I have every intention of keeping you up to the refeeding process and how that's going as well. But things going well. Things going well. Looking forward to the results early in the morning, and I'll let you know tomorrow as well. But the last thing I wanted to cover is one of the reasons I had a good day today is because of the intentional attempt to be friendly. That's one of the things that I've learned to do, is to try to be a friendly guy. And I may be friendly beyond the point of where people around me are comfortable. I don't know, but I like to just start up a conversation with random people, just to make an observation. There were some kids there today that were dressed in their soccer uniforms, and I was walking by them, and I said, "Are you the guys that are going to be playing today?" And just kind of, should I get your autograph? And they had an interaction with kids. They looked like they were probably 19 years old, and that may be a little weird. I don't know, but I made him smile, made him laugh, and one of them said that he would give me his autograph, but he doesn't know how to write, and that was his joke. So he showed some sense of humor. I told him to stay in school. And tonight I went dropped by Bucky's, and while I was making up my coffee and my tea that I was bringing home with me, I started talking to one of the workers there. This guy that was in charge of kind of keeping up all the drink items, the creamers and the milk and all that kind of thing. And he was just doing his job in such a such a way where it looked like that he was having a great time. His name was Bryce. I saw his name tag and I just said, "Hey Bryce, what do you like most about working at Bucky's?" And man, he just talked about how he loved Bucky's, and I'm glad to hear that because I like Bucky's too. But from the inside, it's good to hear that an employee has the same opinion. And talked a little bit about why he loves Bucky's and what's good about his job. And he smiled, and we had a really short conversation. He was working the whole time, and I was just talking around him. It just to engage people, let them know that they're important, that they're there, that they're appreciated for what they do. I did the same thing with the lady that checked me out. We had just a great little fun conversation. Nobody was in line behind me, which is rare at Bucky's. But she had a smile on. She was very friendly, which is the kind of atmosphere they want there. And I just jumped right into it. And I have found that intentional friendliness make benefits me as much as benefit them. Now it takes some practice because some people just don't know how to interact with people, and so you really have to intentionally take a risk. And sometimes people may not accept your attempt. That's okay. That's okay because I'd much rather be a friendly guy than to be one that just is in his own world and only cares about myself. And so the best thing to do is to look for the good in people that are around you, the things that they're doing well, the things that you like about them, and make a comment about it. And ask them about why they're in such a good mood. What is it that they love about their life or their job or their situation? And to take that one step further, one of the tools that we as Christians have in our tool belt is prayer. I have found that people rarely, rarely reject the offer to pray for them. Now, it may not be that you pray for them right there at the moment, but sometimes you can. But for instance, one of the things I love to do is at a restaurant when the wait person's there, and they're I just ask while we're in the middle of the situation there. I do this often. Learn this beautiful thing. Just ask them, say, "Hey, we're about to thank God for our food. Is there anything we can pray about for you while we do that?" And you'd be amazed at the kinds of things that people will open up and say. They're looking for someone that cares, and they have burdens. People have burdens all the time. And I heard a preacher, someone quote a preacher from years and years ago. He said, if you treat people like they're hurting, you're probably going to be treating most people the right way. So in offering to pray for them, finding out their name, and ask them how you can pray for them. Many times, most of the time, people will offer something that's really personal to them. They may say that my father is diagnosed with cancer. I'm a single mom in this situation, and I'm trying to work through how to take care of my kids, and I mean, just you can just hear all kinds of stories. Sometimes I've seen tears that just immediately happen when you offer to pray for them. I was walking down Bourbon Street in New Orleans a few years back, Never had been to Bourbon Street before, and I was a little bit taken back by what I was seeing. It's pretty appalling about many of the things that I saw, the skin joints and the different kinds of voodoo types of things. It was just really kind of strange to walk up and down that. And I decided it really burdened me to have this place that I heard of all my life and thought of it in terms of just a fun place with jazz and music. And that years ago, back in the 70s, there was a minister that was called the chaplain of Bourbon Street, and he ministered along there, and I watched him on television. So I kind of always wanted to go to Bourbon Street, and it was a few years, several years ago that I actually had the chance to, probably a decade or so. And it burdened me what I was seeing. And so I decided I'm going to turn this into a prayer walk. As I walk along, I'm going to pray for the people and these places that I'm walking by. I'm going to pray for the people that are there. And walk by a strip joint. On the sidewalk, there was a guy who was stationed out in front of the strip joint. His job was to grab guys, grab their attention at least, and try to coax them to come in. Well, he did that with me, and I looked at him and said, "Hey, man, I can't come in there. I'm a Christian guy, and so I'm just walking along here, and I'm praying for different places. But while I'm with you, since you got my attention, is there something I can pray for you about?" So right there in front of this strip joint, I knelt and I prayed for this guy. He wanted to be prayed for. He told me about something going on in his life. So right on the doorstep of a strip joint on Bourbon Street, I prayed with him. Just an amazing thing to do. And man, I think he felt cared about and loved. That was my intention. And so I'm recommending all my Christian buddies and just anybody in general that may be watching this, be friendly, be caring, be looking out for the good in people. Let them know what you see and how much you appreciate it. And then use prayer as a tool to get closer to the heart of people and to really show that you care, because God will acknowledge those prayers, I think, in their life. And I just that's a lesson in life for my kids, for my grandkids that don't exist yet, and then also from all my good friends out there and the friends I haven't met that may be watching and listening. Until tomorrow night, when I hope to be well under 277.7, which is what I am right now. We'll see how I'm doing, and I'll let you know. Blood pressure and blood glucose numbers are hanging in there pretty well. So with no medication, I'm not taking any medication. So that's the latest. I'll talk to you tomorrow.